This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 275 Aussie Mac Zone. 275, that's another milestone, another big tick. Tonight we've got Zarn. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, Michael. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Tonight we are brought to you again by IT Help to You and Aussie Tech Heads Podcasting. Now, our Aussie ramblings this week. Now, me, personally, I caught some of Landline yesterday, which is ABC, and there was an awesome segment on virtual reality. It showed off how a father and son are travelling around the outback in a bus set up properly for education to schools to demonstrate virtual reality, not for gaming, but for teaching people, including students, about farm to plate production. Now, one example, they were going through, taking cattle from the farm to the restaurant, and part of that is a slaughterhouse. So they didn't show the killing bit to the kids. Something most people, even farmers, never get to see is the actual slaughterhouse part. Right? We all know about it.
Yes, we do.
We don't see it, do we?
Not unless you've worked in an abattoir before. No, you do not.
That's right. So now, virtual reality was also being used to teach tractor drivers how to control new model of harvesters correctly.
Awesome.
Or they had safety lessons in IE. So what's wrong with this scenario? And you'd be in a room, you'd be in the shed out the back of the farm, you know what I mean? And then they'd have the petrol and the acid and the LPG all in the same room, for example.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah. So I thought it was really good. It's worth a look. There is a link in the show notes to iView and to the Landline.
Yep.
Now, and it was awesome, and congratulations to them for their great Australian business.
Exactly.
They're doing work for Case, which is a worldwide thing for teaching the tractor drivers and things, all that sort of stuff. Awesome.
Not just that, teaching kids, like where your food comes from.
Yep.
Like lots of inner city kids just think their food comes from a supermarket.
Yeah.
So getting out there and showing kids where the food actually comes from and how hard farmers work to grow that food for us.
Yeah.
It's an important lesson.
And because the father was a dairy farmer.
Yep.
And his son came up to him one day and said, "So I've entered a competition to win a bus. What are we going to... How are you going to feel about driving a bus?" And they're driving this bus all over Australia, going to outback towns, cities, the whole deal. You know what I mean? It's really
great.
good.
That's
really
great. I'm glad that they won a bus, not an AR system. They won a bus, and this is their idea.
And they've got heaps of other ideas that they're taking along. So awesome, really good,
really good. That's
so
really
congratulations to them. Yep. Now story 2. This one's pretty cool too. SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft just docked with the International Space Station. Forbes is reporting SpaceX has successfully docked its Crew Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station, the first commercial crew vehicle to ever reach the station and the start of an exciting new era of human spaceflight.
Yep. G'day, Nathan.
Hi, Nathan. Yeah, cool.
People viewing.
Excellent. Crew Dragon docked to the station at 5:51 Eastern Time on March the 3rd, having launched in an historic flight from Florida. Both Crew Dragon and the ISS are now currently orbiting the Earth at an altitude of about 410 kilometers, which is like, I don't know, what's that from Sydney to
Port Macquarie?
Albury, Port Macquarie,
Yeah.
Now, Crew Dragon, although no humans aboard this time, had a crash test dummy, so all the sensors could be recorded.
Yep.
And then the docking procedure was managed by NASA, while the spacecraft itself flew autonomously towards the space station. There's some glorious images showing its approach with the nose cone open.
Excellent.
And then about 2 hours after Crew Dragon reached the station, the astronauts on the International Space Station entered the vehicle for the first time, which carried about 180 kilograms of cargo. They did so wearing oxygen masks, just in case any gases had leaked inside.
Yep.
Now, the vehicle will remain attached until Friday, when it returned to Earth, along with about 150 kilos of cargo. It will splash down in the Atlantic Ocean at about 8:45 Eastern American time, I believe, having left the station 6 hours before. So well done to Elon Musk and the team. Well done.
Yeah, SpaceX, it's so cool.
Yes.
Commercial flights to space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boeing have got one nearly ready to go as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. So,
we're almost out there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Now,
very cool.
Getting to our Apple stories. Apple's rolling the dice on its upcoming products. Cult of Mac explains Apple CEO Tim Cook is very upbeat about where his company is going. He told investors on Friday that upcoming products will blow you away. Cook also indicated that these aren't going to be just more of the same. Apple is branching out. The executive didn't use his speech during the annual shareholders meeting to making any specific revelations, which we wouldn't expect him to do. Instead, he talked about planting seeds, and he's feeling very positive about the fruit these will eventually bear. Cook said he'd never been more optimistic about Apple's future. So short-term plans, Cook was a little more open about what to expect in the near future. In talking about the Apple Watch, Cook said they're pulling the string between wellness and health. He mentioned the ECG in the latest version, but also the exercise tools built into this wearable, and more health-related features are likely going forward. One of the ones they're thinking about in the next version of the watch, apparently sleep tracking may be built in.
Yep.
Now, in a bit of good news for Apple fans, Apple CEO says they've made lowering the cost of the latest MacBook Air a goal. It currently starts at US $1,199 after replacing an earlier model that started at US $999. So you think, oh, that's only $200. It's not much. But by the time it gets to Australia, it's massive.
It is.
So it's enough to put people actually off buying them.
It is.
For example, education people.
Agreed. Like, I know they're great, but when you can buy a smaller, laptop for 3/4 of the price.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So now, also, after one investor complained that he couldn't transfer movies off his iPad Pro via the USB-C port, Apple's senior vice president of software engineering,
Yes.
Craig Federighi, stepped in to say that the new functionality is coming. He wouldn't get any more specific, but that could be a hint that this falls, which is, in America, the middle of the year, iOS 13 will include more robust file management capabilities, something users have been asking for.
Yes. And
So,
hello, Kellyanne.
Hello, Kellyanne. Another great listener. Now, good news for Apple customers, and it's amazing it's still going on. The iPhone battery diagnostics have been updated to help you provide more information about to help service people provide more information about the customer's battery health. This new information, in combination with device coverage guidelines, will help service providers provide the appropriate battery service pricing, because it's a bit up in the air. Now, for batteries that are consumed, the customer will be responsible for the cost of the new battery, unless the iPhone is covered under Apple Care Plus. Now, that's because some people, the phones get used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so they get chewed up pretty quick. That's a fact for some people. Some businesses, they pass the phone. The next manager gets that phone passed on. They don't necessarily have their own phone for that particular business. So the batteries do get consumed, which means the customer has received the expected performance out of the battery. Now, since the battery has been consumed by the customer's use, the customer would be responsible for the cost to replace it. But now also internally, iPhones with missing or damaged battery tabs are no longer eligible for battery repair pricing.
Yep.
That's because whoever that phone's been taken to have something done to it, it's been butchered.
Yep.
Now, in addition to the diagnostic updates, customers with a third-party iPhone battery are now eligible for repairs. So,
excellent.
Yeah, that's just another little bit of stuff that's going on in the background.
Speaking of batteries, were we talking about the Ever-Ready phone?
Ever-Ready or the
Energizer?
Energizer phones.
Yeah, the Energizer phones? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah. Like really big.
Yeah, they really are. Then they're like, but it'll last 52 days, sitting in idle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great and all, but where are you meant to carry that thing? Like, I like a big phone, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that thing was a mammoth.
Yeah.
It was carrying around an old brick.
But apparently they released like something like they're going to be releasing something like 50 phones this year.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, so they're just going to dump us into the phone market, and they're going to have all these Android phones that are going to be there. I guess they're like right from the bottom range up to the top range where they've got the huge battery and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So also the big news all week has been basically the two folding phones from Huawei and Samsung.
Yep.
With two totally different ways of doing it. One folds so the screens are on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
One folds so the screens are on the inside with another screen on the outside, the Samsung one. That's so far perceived the best because they're actually plastic, not glass, so they're going to get scratched.
Yep.
I figure you dragging the Huawei one in and out of your pocket, so that's probably the best choice is the Samsung one.
Yep.
But
I've never heard you back a Samsung product before.
No. I'm only telling what people have said. That's all. Now, on top of this, straight away, people have so Apple's radical new iPhone suddenly takes shape. Apple has already updated its phones twice this year in 2019. The first was planned, which is the ordinary updates. The second launched in an outrage because they had to change the chips that were in the phones released in Germany and the software in Germany because of their ongoing legal dispute with what's the chip manufacturer? It's lost. The one that makes the
Intel.
I'll think of it in a minute. But yeah, so but now the company is. The story goes, but now the company is zeroing in on Huawei and Samsung's radical folding smartphones, as it is with ambitious iPhone to date is taking shape. So,
what does that mean?
So there was two stories. One had this was talking about Apple's foldable phone that someone's found some leaks to,
yeah,
and then also another part was. How can I put it? Folding a flurry of iPhone. They've gone through the patent.
Yep.
And Apple is back again, showing how its acclaimed attention to detail gives the company the platform to make the most impressive folding smartphone entry so
That's
far.
what I wanted to know. Are they making a folding smartphone?
Well, you'd reckon they've been already doing it for ages. But now picked up by a fan site, Apple Insider, a newly public Apple patent has revealed the company is working on a folding display which automatically warms at the folding point. Why? Apple explains that folding displays can be damaged when used in cold temperatures because they're plastic, right?
Yep.
So you've got to warm that hinge up, like that fold up before you open it so you don't crack it, so it doesn't crease all the time.
Yep.
So options such as heating an element or even lighting the pixels in the fold would mitigate the problem. Interestingly, neither Huawei nor Samsung have touched on this weakness, despite stating their respective folding smartphones will launch commercially this year. Now, interestingly, 9 to 5 also had a story on Apple's foldable iPads. So I've included a link to both the stories in our show notes.
So, are these phones going to be cheaper, do you think? If they're using plastics and we're going away from the stronger glass and everything like that,
they're only going to make 300 of them. So that's why the Samsung one and the Huawei, the Samsung one's $2,000.
Oh.
And the Huawei one's $2,600.
Okay.
That's American dollars for both of them, and the Huawei one's never even going to be sold in America.
Okay. So they're only making. So they're just basically to see how they go. So they're making this tiny little amount. People are going to buy them. Basically,
how many people are going to
them.
spend $2,000 on a phone unless you have to be writing about it or just want to be the leading?
So that's what they're doing. These are basically beta models, like they're test products. Yeah.
Realistically, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, now, have you got any stories, buddy?
No, not at the moment. I don't, unfortunately.
No.
No, the only thing I had to talk about was the Energizer phone.
Uh-huh.
Because I've been reading about it and things like that. There was something else that I had, but I can't remember what it was now. I should really write this stuff down. Like a professional, we are.
That's because you're getting old now and you can't remember the stuff, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So, don't forget, IT Help to You. They're helping the show tonight. Thank you very much to IT Help to You. You can look them up on the web, www.ithelptoyou.com.au. Thank you very much. Now, so here we go. We've also brought to you by, because we're nearly at the end, Aussie Tech Heads Podcasting. That's our great mother company. So if you're interested in starting a podcast or you already have one and you want to get it onto Aussie Tech Radio, just contact Glenn at Aussie Tech Heads Podcasting. And it's not that hard. And we're going to, we are getting a guest on in a week or so, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as soon as we can make time to get everybody together.
Yep.
There's a podcast which I've talked about called Forgotten Australia, which is a history podcast about Australia, and
fantastic podcast.
The guy called, gotta say, brilliant name, Michael, is he's agreed to come on the show and talk about the show and the making of the show and that stuff. So it's just awesome.
Horrible self-promotion. I love it.
So now, again, thanks to Forbes, here's one for you, mate.
Yep.
Now, it turns out that a lot of people are learning to play guitar are biasing towards the Rolling Stones. Now, Fender Play is a smartphone-based learning app for budding guitarists and bassists, and with a dash of ukulele as well.
Oh, awesome.
Now, from the iconic manufacturer, as a number of new songs are rolled out into the app, the reporter at Forbes had a chance to ask the team about the song choices by users. I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones is the most popular song to learn on Fender Play.
Yep.
And the Rolling Stones are the most popular band among our users. That's pretty cool.
It's because they're easiest to learn. I'm not talking bad about Keith Richards, don't get me wrong. He's amazing. I don't know how he's still alive.
That's right. Yeah.
So we know ill words of Keith Richards. I'm scared of him. I'm pretty sure he's an immortal. There shall be only one.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the most popular song and the most popular group on Fender Play. And if you're thinking about learning to play the guitar, download it and have a go.
Sounds great.
Yes.
Good little app.
Really, really good. Yep. Looks like a good app. I had a quick look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to play with it a few times. It's pretty good.
Yeah, excellent. Now, I've got nothing else that I can think of. Now, our show promotion, the show notes link each week on our show upload, the link being https://aussiemaczone.com.au/Aussie-Mac-zone-episode-275/. And there you'll see the last 5 weeks show notes there for you. So don't forget, you can search for us on Spotify. Now, thanks to this week's sponsors being Aussie Tech Head Podcasting and IT Help to You. But more importantly, thank you to our supporters, you, Absolutely. Our listeners. Thank you very much. Thanks for your hard work tonight again, Zarn.
Always a pleasure, Michael.
Nice quick podcast again, because again we're in that sort of no news period between we are expecting to see at the end of the month. So hopefully this week the invitations will go out for some Apple thing at the end of this month, but we'll see what happens.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And cool I'd like to thank the listeners as well, and everyone who supports us. And remember, guys, an apple a day keeps the androids away. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.